So we are back on the Crew podcast again. Wesley E is the man of the hour. So Wesley, when we left, I said we were going to come back. One of the things we were going to talk about was your love for the Oakland Raiders.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All the love started when they were the LA Raiders, baby. Let me clarify that. We letting Oakland ball them right now, man. But anything that's gotten to do with the Raider Nation, I'm all for it. I'm in it.
How long have you been a fan of the Raiders?
Man, I've been a fan of the Raiders since I was a kid, man. Since the day I came out and knew what football was about. I was a Raiders fan, man. You got to stick with the home team.
That's true. I feel you on that. Let me say this. I got to tell you, I'm actually impressed this year with them. They're in first place.
Yes, sir.
In their
yes,
division.
Sir.
I mean,
wait a minute. We'll say that one more time.
They right now are in first place.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I tell you what though, I will give them credit. They first of all they're being coached very well.
Yes, they are.
They have an amazing coach this year, and I think that's huge. And then of course, anytime you have a team that people look up to, and the Raiders are like a historic franchise team, it's always hard to live up to that hype. So the fact that they're in first place so far, and I'm gonna say so far, is amazing. But again, remember this. I know we joke about it, but they did play the Chiefs, and they. Oh, you're not gonna say that LOSE word.
Say that one more time, man, so I can know what I'm about to get myself into.
Yeah. But you know what? That's always been one of the actual franchise rivalries.
Yes,
in the National Football League. So anytime they get together, I like to give you a hard time about that.
But you know what? You want me to tell you a quick little story that a lot of people don't know, man?
What's that?
And I'm gonna be honest, man. I've been a Raiders fan since I was a kid, man. But when I moved to Kansas City when I was a kid, I found out Kansas City had this team that was called the Kansas City Chiefs. My favorite color was red. So guess what? Figure it out, man. I was a Chiefs fan for a while. You always stick with the home team, but I was a Chiefs fan for a while. But I kept finding my feelings getting hurt, man. So I had to walk away, and I feel bad, man, because I really tried to love the Chiefs, man. So that's some insight, man, that a lot of people don't know. I tried to love the Chiefs. They just kept hurting my feelings. So I said I'll go back to somebody that I love, and I'm okay with them hurting my feelings if need be.
Well, you know what? I'll say this, and this is the last thing I'll say about the Chiefs, but I'm a fan of the current Chiefs with Alex Smith, but my team has always been the one with Joe Montana and Marcus Allen. That was the team.
That was a beautiful team, man. I would be a liar if I said it wasn't. That was indeed a beautiful team.
Yeah, if they ever came out with like a game where you could actually play as classic people, that's who I would be. So, So speaking of that, I got an email because I get a number of emails when it pertains to you. None lawsuit wise so far, but emails nonetheless.
Man, where's Toothpick when you need him?
Right. So I got an email, and one of the questions that people ask me is, how did you come up with the name Darkhorse? Or basically, why did I give you that name? So, and I don't know if it's ever a question that you had, but I've always equated you and who you are and what you bring to this crew almost to like that old like WWE wrestling like Evolution. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Where you had Triple H, which is basically like me. You had Batista, which is like Brandon. And then you had Randy Orton, who was just this like crowning jewel, which I equate to you. Only because, again, you, if anybody's going to break out, I see that being you. Only because the stuff that you've been through personally with your life, and then, of course, stuff that you want to do going forward, we can all definitely see that. Have you ever just said? Have you ever just said, "Why in the hell did Will give me that?"
You know what? When I first heard it, I was like, wow, man. What's going on with Slick Will right there, man? But then when I thought about it, I said, hey, man. People see a lot of things in you that you don't see for yourself, and sometimes you just gotta trust the people, and you just have to roll with it, man. Because the whole Darkhorse thing, I'm gonna tell you right now, it sat with me real well the first time I heard it, because like you say, everybody has different things that they can bring to the table, and a lot of people don't know. I can be funny at times, I can be silly, and I'm real serious at times too. So it's kind of one of those dark comedy type of things to where it's like, if you're not paying attention to it, you'll miss it. You'll miss the humor in it. But then again, you'll have another scenario to where it's just like, that boy's a damn fool.
Yeah.
So, to be the Dark Horse, I kind of took that as, you never know what to expect from me. You can expect something, but you never know what it is. So it's one of those things to where, as the founder, I know I'm going to keep your hand on that censor button a lot, because you don't ever know what you're going to get when you're dealing with me.
Right. So speaking of that, I'm going to tell a story to the people that are listening that only me and you and really the crew know. And it's actually fitting to, the Dark Horse when we call you that. So we had a business meeting, first ever business meeting that we all got together, right? The only person that couldn't make it was Nell, because she was in Australia. But we actually, after that, me and you went out. And I remember you went to this bar, right? And we weren't even...
My second favorite home.
Yes, we know. We weren't even there 5 minutes. I mean, literally 5 minutes before you were... and when I tell the story, I'm no joke. Wesley, you can confirm this. We weren't even there 5 minutes, and Wesley literally had a crowd of people. You remember that?
Yes, sir. That was a good night, might I add.
I was in my mind. Let me tell you what was going through my mind at the time. There's two things going through my mind. Number one, I'm thinking, shit. This dude's crazy.
It's never been certified, man. There's no paperwork on that, but I agree with you.
And then second, I was thinking, this is why I wanted him a part of the crew, because again, we talk about dynamics, and I talked about it with the podcast with Nell, but the dynamic that everybody brings is so different. And I've always told people, no matter, who's asked me, I've always said Wesley has the ability to attract people. I said he's so good he can attract flies. You got that gift. And so I tell that story because, again, that was really a wild night.
It was, man. And to speak to that, man, that goes back to what we were talking about as far as upbringing and, parenting. Because as everybody knows, my father was my guy, and he used to always tell me, I've never met a stranger that I didn't know. And I took that to heart. So whenever I go out, hey, man, if you look at me, you make eye contact at me, you smile at me, that means you want to talk to me. So guess what? You've gotten yourself into a conversation, and here we go.
Right. And trust me, and we love that about you, man. Let's talk about the crew.
The crew.
And do you remember the first time that I actually pitched you on the crew?
Oh yeah, man. I know there was a whole lot of ideas being thrown around, and I remember when you was like, hey, man, like we were saying earlier, we both have aspirations to do certain things that are kind of similar on the right track, like I say. And this is one of those things that I respect about you, because you have a little bit more experience in it, and you have your feet into it a lot more. But you said, hey, man, you know what? There's something that I want to do, and I want you involved in it because, I feel like I can help you. And when I heard that, I said to myself, for someone to reach out to you and pitch something to you, then that means you got something going on, and I had so much respect for you for even thinking and contemplating about putting me in on it, where I was like, hey man, this crew thing can be what we make it. So
Yeah.
I still remember that day.
Let me, one of the reasons why I chose you is because, number one, I have a lot of respect for you as, just like I said, as a father.
Thank you, sir.
We definitely have that in common, and then just again, sometimes, like, and of course, we use social media so much that you just can't help to notice people. One of the things about me that I notice about anybody is, like, if I go on a page and I read their post, and it gives you an insight of where their mind's at. And I know that you write stuff that's very deep, so to live in a generation, where you have two crazy ass candidates that are going for presidency,
Exactly, man. Exactly.
to find realness in that is deep. So I remember saying to myself, I said, yeah, I want this dude with us, and I remember telling Brandon, because I said, there's no way, we got to get Wesley involved, and then I remember we sat down, and I said, I just said to myself, I said, yeah, we made the right choice. And it's funny to me, and I don't know if you feel the same way. It's because there's Hannah, there's Brandon,
Hey, what up?
there's Nell, you and me, and now there's Christy. But the dynamic, I remember when we all first got together. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
It was like we have been rolling together for years.
Hey man, that's the good thing about when you put people together, and you put good people together. Because like you say, man, just to piggyback off what you were saying, it did feel like we've known each other for years. There wasn't a break in the action. Everybody was bouncing things off everybody, and in the end, it was a good time involved. And when you're doing work, man, you always want to have a good time, and that was just immediate, man. So
Yeah.
I applaud you for what you put together.
So a lot of people don't know what's coming up, but what we're going to do, we're going to take just one more quick break. When we come back, we're going to, of course, have part 3 of the podcast with Wesley E. And what we're going to talk about really is some of the skits that we have coming up, because I know you and Nell, are going to be working closely together on a couple skits. And then, of course, me and you have a couple skits as well when it pertains to the kids. And speaking of kids, I want to talk to you also about what you do in your other love that you currently do on a daily basis when it comes to kids, because I know that's huge and we don't want to leave that out. Yeah. So we're gonna be back with more with Wesley E, and like I said, man, we're gonna keep doing what we do.
Hey man, we own it, man. Hey, we fake it till we make it, or we gonna make it. One or the other, man. You know how we roll.
Yeah, one the other. And P.S. for all you Chiefs fans, he's talking about the Raiders faking it till they make it.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Man down.
We'll be back.
Buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenos noches, my peeps. This is Hannah with breaking news. Not only that, but rolling with the crew. And you're listening to the podcast on YouTube.